All right, folks. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a story, and that story is about how the Marines were not the only ones to do fighting in the Pacific Theater. Now, there are some of you out there that know this, of course, of course. What the Marines did was they were mostly the initial wave of the invasions. Now, that's not to say the Army didn't do invasions under fire. They did. But the Marines did it more often and more famously. The Marines did often hold islands like Guadalcanal, Peleliu, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. The Marines did a lot of fighting. They weren't just pulled off right after they invaded. No. They went in there and they fought, sometimes alongside with the Army, like on Okinawa. On Guadalcanal, for a long time, it was just the 1st Marine Division. Until the Navy was able to win, I don't remember exactly which battle it was that they won that allowed them to come back in and start resupplying it, because Guadalcanal is extremely confusing and is going to require its own video for me to cover. And we'll get there when we get there. But I just wanted to talk about how the United States Army did a lot of the fighting, especially on the Philippines. In fact, if you want to see where the Army did a lot of landings and invasions, look at the Philippines, because that is where they did the most of it. Yeah, the Marines were involved in the Philippines too, but it was largely an Army show. That was their thing. The Marines, they've got Okinawa, Guadalcanal, Peleliu, Iwo Jima, Tarawa, Guam. I can go on. Saipan. I can go on and on and on. And there are a lot of invasion islands that the Marines invaded. But on almost every single one of those islands, except I believe Iwo Jima was captured quickly enough that they didn't need the Army to come in, and Tarawa. Tarawa was very quick. With the exception of those two, I believe, and I could be wrong, and I'm talking about fighting specifically. I'm not talking about them coming in afterwards and occupying after the fighting's done. But as far as Tarawa and Iwo Jima, I believe those are the only ones where the Marines didn't have a bunch of Army help to actually clear the island initially and have it secured. In air quotes, because they would often be Japanese stragglers still fighting on the island, but that's a video for another time. Anyways, Birdman out.